Hello, welcome to another episode of MTG Dudes. I am Joe.
And I am Ned.
And we are going a little more specific, which I think is great because it's made me really have to look into cards, which has given me some ideas for decks, give me ideas for cards to put in decks. And I think what me and him has done has been really great because of just the research we have put into these videos. Saying all that, we are doing multicolored, non-legendary creatures today. And what we'll do is we'll start off with an honorable mention and work to the regulars. So, Mr. Ned.
Hostage Taker. 2 colorless, 1 blue, 1 black. He is a 2/3. When Hostage Taker enters the battlefield, exile another target creature or artifact until Hostage Taker leaves the battlefield. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it's mana of any color to cast the spell. He is a really good play because he can take a problem off the board, and if you have the means to cast it, make it a problem for the opponent instead of you. Good times.
I also like the fact that, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, he's really good for the reasons that you said. He's just fun to play, and he's a pirate.
He is a pirate, and he's not that expensive. If you want to buy one, you can get one for under $1.
Yeah, most of these cards are actually pretty cheap. Again, I also got a new camera, so I'm all excited about it. Well, actually, I got a new phone, but the cameras are so much better than the last one. So as you can tell, there's no ripple effect on the screen this time. So, yippee! Sorry, change the subject. Anyway, we're on to our top 10. And I'm going to start from the top to the bottom for me. So, the first one I'm going to bring up is Dream Trawler. I saw this one come out when it hit Standard. And I've seen it played. I've played it. It is just a fantastic card. It's a little pricey. But in Standard especially, it is just an exceptionally hard card to get rid of. So, it is 2 white, and 2 blue, flying and lifelink, so it already has a little bit of evasion. But then whenever you draw a card, Dream Trawler gets +1/+0 to end the turn. That's nice in itself. The second text, it's one of those cards with a lot of text on it. The second text, whenever Dream Trawler attacks, draw a card. So he has he has a card draw on his attack. And then to top that off, if you discard a card, Dream Trawler gains hexproof till end of turn, and then you tap it. So the great thing about it is you cannot target this guy very easily.
Yeah, it's a good play, and a 3/5 for 6 is a little bit heavy on the mana cost, but the other things definitely balance out and make it worth playing.
I mean, on your opening deck, he becomes a 4/5 just from your card draw. And then when he draws a card, it makes him a 5/5. And then you discard, you already have 2 cards in your hand, you can discard. Yeah, can't beat it. So yeah, I think it's a really good card. And again, this card is only 35 cents, 45 cents, someplace in there. So it's, again, a really cheap card. So we'll move on to your next one. Which one do you want?
Let's talk about...
That's
something
right.
just happened.
I just hit a button. Because I hit buttons.
Let's talk about the Angel next.
Sure.
Maelstrom Archangel. This is a Wooburg. White, blue, black, red, and green. 5/5 with flying. When Maelstrom Archangel deals combat damage to a player, you may cast a spell from hand without paying its mana cost. So as a flyer, it's a little bit more difficult to block, and being a 5/5, you may or may not want to send something at it, so that'll let you do something out of hand for free.
It is a really nice card. I don't like the fact there's 5 colors because it's hard to do, but if you're already playing a 5-color deck, this card is perfect for it. Or if you're playing Standard and you can do an easy 5-color deck, which can be manipulated real easy or some kind of constructed. Yeah, it's a very nice play, a very nice card, and again, it's under $1. So we're going to move on to, I believe, this guy. Yeah. Mine's alphabetical, so that's fine. We are going to airtie the Corrupted. It is a 2 white, blue, and black. It's only a 3/4. But if you pay blue and you sacrifice it, you can sacrifice a creature or enchantment counter. And then if you do, you can counter target spell. It's a very nice counter spell that is really super cheap, and you can counter anything that's a spell.
Yeah, this guy is really handy if you play token creatures. You can just sacrifice a token and prevent something from happening if it's going to cause you a problem. So, yeah, definitely a good play and a good value because, again, he's a 3/4, so he's a decent-sized blocker, if nothing else.
And you don't have to sacrifice him. You can sacrifice anything. Or enchantment, depending if you have an enchantment that became no good. All right, your next one.
Let's talk about the Poison Tip Archer.
Nice one. Love this guy.
He is 2 colorless, black and green with reach. He's a 2/3 with Death Touch. And whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life. So it doesn't matter if it's your creature or the opponent's creature. If something else dies, they are losing a life. He is phenomenal, and if you have a lot of death cards like Royal Assassin or things of that nature, you can absolutely wreck your opponent with this as an accessory to it.
I did a black-green elf deck where it was making a bunch of creatures and sacrificing a bunch of creatures to do damage. And this was one of my key pieces to it. And again, like he said, the commander I was using, you had to sacrifice 10 elves at a time. And of course, you know, made a lot of token elves. So just imagine that. A person has 40 life. You sacrifice 10 elves. That is 10 damage to each opponent each time you do that. So it is nasty. And he's Death Touch, so he's going to get some damage in because people don't want to block him. And on top of that, it doesn't matter how big your flyer is. He's Reach, so he can turn around and block anything, flying or not flying. And he's effective. So, I mean, that's going to be a death, and that's going to be at least 1 life lost. And so, yeah. The next one I'm going to look at, I'm going to go to Master of Death. This is one of the newer ones I've found, but I really like what he does, and this is a guy that's definitely going to be included in a couple of my decks. But first of all, he is a colorless, a blue, and a black. He's only a 3/1, so he's not huge, but he's also a zombie wizard. So when Master of Death enters the battlefield, automatically you get to play with your deck a little bit because you get to surveil too. So that means you can look at it. If you don't like it, you can put it in your discard pile. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if he is in your graveyard, you may pay a life, and if you do, you can return him to your hand. So again, he's one of those cards that's really hard to get rid of because you can constantly keep playing him and bringing him in. I see a lot of potential with him, and so he's on my list because I really, really want to start putting him in some of my decks.
Yeah, the deck manipulation is always a good thing, and that he keeps coming back from the graveyard for, what is that, just
1 life.
1 life is really, really strong play. Zombies do a lot of graveyard recursion, so yeah, have fun with that, trying to keep him off the board, and like I say, the deck manipulation is almost always a necessary thing, particularly in a game of Commander.
Yep. Alright, so we're going to move on to your next one.
Rubble Belt Raiders.
I was thinking that one, actually.
1 colorless, and then 3. You can pay red or green in any combination to make that happen. And it's a 3/3. When Rubble Belt Raider attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it for each attacking creature you control. This guy gets huge in a hurry, and he's already a 3/3, so Again, you find a way to give him trample or make him unblockable, he's going to do a lot of damage in a short amount of time.
There's another creature that he kind of reminds me of, not for the same reasons, but his name is Managorger Hydra. It's one of my favorite green creatures, and every time a person plays a spell, that card gets a one counter on it every time somebody plays any spell. The reason why I bring that up is because that game or that creature has really done a lot of damage, and it's only a 1/1 at start. This guy, the reason why I bring him up, because this guy is very similar. If you're playing a very, very attacking deck, and that's pretty much what it says, but when you're playing a deck that's focused on attacking, and let's say you attack with 5 creatures when he comes out and play, and you give this guy haste, which is really easy to do in certain colors, especially red, then this guy could be an 8/8 on the very first turn when it comes into play, and that's unheard of in most games. And he can just really take over a game really fast, and you have to have an answer for this guy. There's a lot of standard and modern decks that play, well, it was standard, but now it's modern, and what's that other one? Pioneer. Where this guy I've seen heavily used. Because he just does so much damage. And in a 20 life game, he can finish it off really fast.
Yeah, and the other part of that equation is in the modern and pioneer format, you can play 4 of them in a deck. So, yeah, send a few of them along with some of their buddies, and it's obnoxious.
Yep, and you're playing green, so you can do a lot of land search too. Anyway, that's one thing I've really found to like about green is the land search. But anyway, I lost my train of thought because that's easy to do. Excuse me. I was looking for a card and watch this guy be it. Having Ghoul Lich. He's another one that I've come across that I really, really like. Excuse me. He has 3, a blue, and a black. He is a 4/4. And you can pay 1, and when you do, you may cast target creature card in a graveyard this turn. When you cast it this turn, this Lich guy gains all activated abilities of the card until end of turn. Again, I've not played him, but looking at this list, trying to find cards for it, I came across this guy, and going with a zombie theme, because this guy's, again, a zombie, and a wizard, that with this guy, I mean, you're bringing stuff out of any graveyard to play on your side. And when you do, he gets all the activated abilities. So let's say an Avacyn somehow manages to hit the graveyard, which ain't going to happen, but if you can make it hit the graveyard, well, it could happen. But if you can make it hit the graveyard, you can cast this guy, then all of a sudden you have 2 8/8 indestructible creatures on the field. And I'm just throwing one example. He could be a Rubble Belt Raider or a Poison Ted Parcher. I mean, any way you look at it, this guy can do a lot of damage just from him becoming that creature for the turn.
Yeah, well, he's also an excellent play for the reason you touched on. It's not just your graveyard. You can cast something from the opponent's graveyard as well. So if they've got a problem that you've solved, then you can cast that card from the graveyard and make it a problem for them. He's a tremendous play. I have him actually in a zombie deck because, again, graveyard recursion. Why not?
And you throw him in with this guy. That's nasty.
Yep.
So anyway, we're going on to your next one, which would
Stormfleet Sprinter.
There we go.
This guy has been a favorite ever since he was printed. He came out in the Rivals of Ixalan set. He's just 1 colorless, blue and a red. He's a 2/2 haste. Stormfleet Sprinter cannot be blocked. So I fell in love with him because he's a pirate, and I've been trying to make the pirate tribal work for pretty much since Ixalan came out, and he is one of the key components that helps me do that. That whole haste and unblockable thing, sign me up.
And I like his tax too. Charge like a red hot cannonball straight to your target. You slow down, You sink. Captain Lannery Storm. I love the little secret text on some of these cards because it's kind of funny or humorous or just cute. They did a lot of thought into these cards when they made them. But yeah, this guy is, yeah, he's straight to the face, 2/2, and he comes out and he's just really quick. Really fun. Now, the last one I'm going to bring up is a card that is one of my favorite cards that is multicolored. And this card I put in anything that's blue or green. I have it in pretty much every single deck. You can't beat it. It's 2 green, 2 blue, and he's a 3/2. An elf lizard warrior. How are you an elf lizard warrior? I have no idea. But he's real simple. He's a flash, so you can play him at any time. And if somebody throws something that's going to hurt you, not only do you get a decent sized body, but he also can counter any spell when he enters the battlefield.
Yeah, he's a good play. It's a little bit heavy on the mana cost, 4 for a 3/2, but because he is a counterspell, that's what makes him worth it.
And him being flash, he can play at any time. And then the last one we're going to talk about is this one right here.
Exalted Flamer of Zinct. This came out in the Warhammer Commander decks, and I absolutely love what he does because he is an asset to any deck that throws a lot of instant and sorcery spells. So for 2 colorless, a blue and a red, at the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery from your graveyard to hand. And then whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, the Exalted Flamer deals 1 damage to each opponent. So again, we're talking about graveyard recursion and doing extra damage. It's a fantastic play. Absolutely love this guy.
I'm not a big fan of Spellslinger decks, but this guy is definitely a key component for it. And yeah, if you're playing a Spellslinger deck or playing against it, either way, this guy's really good or he's really going to stink because he's going to hurt you. He's going to really, really hurt you. So that is our top 10s. Give us a respond and give us, why don't you comment down in the comment section and tell us what cards are some of your favorites. I know that YouTube is really trying to concentrate on the shorts, but we still want to give you some very, very productive podcasts and videos that just on our thoughts. And, you know, try the cards out. They're except for this one, they're all under $1 on this list. This guy's about a $20 card. Am I looking at the right one? Yeah, this guy's about $18 card. You know, I just hit the table. But this one's an $18 card, so this guy's a little pricey and a little big. But other than that, everything else you look at is under $1. And, okay, that guy's $2.79, but still. There's a couple, but I mean, all but 3 of them are under $1. 2 of them are under $5, and the last one is $17. But he does a whole lot for what he does, which is why he's expensive. But these are really cool cards. Please like, share, subscribe. Give us your thoughts. We would love to get them. I got a new camera. I'm all excited about it. And I don't know on the time thing, but we're going new places with these videos, and we're going to keep doing shorts. And we're just going to, let's see if we can hit 100 subscribers, because we're doing awesome on that. And, yeah, little victories. We asked for 20. We said we want a total of 30. We are exactly at 50 right now, which isn't a lot, but for as long as we've been doing this, that is awesome. And we can't do this without you guys, so we thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you who have subscribed, and also give us some opinions about something you'd like to hear us discuss. We're always looking for more ideas for the podcast. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about, and we'll be sure to include that in one of our episodes.
These videos are all about you guys. What can we do to be more entertaining for you guys? Let us know. Thank you, and you guys have a wonderful day.
Blessings and peace.